Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at IQ, who now has frag grenades. Don't be mistaken, IQ has got frag grenades. Now, if only we could just make this look a little bit sharper and a little bit clearer with a little bit more FPS. Wait, I'm still alive. This looks loads better. And I'll tell you why it looks loads better. Thank you to the very kind folks at Aorus UK who've sponsored this video. Since I recorded that first clip, I've just changed my GPU, and now I'm getting over 250 FPS in Ultra. I get over 400 to 500 FPS in normal graphics that I normally play on. They sent me a 3080 Ti, which you can see on IQ's scanner here. Very snazzy, I know. But I've got no more excuses now about missing shots due to low FPS. Thanks once more to Aorus UK for sponsoring the video. All the links are down in the description if you want to get your hands on your own. Thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to using the new GPU. So, just before we get into the gameplay, by the way, how mad is it that I started making YouTube videos and doing stupid, cheesy intros, and now we're working with a company like Aorus Gigabyte doing cheesy intros, and how mad is that? Crazy. I have to sort of go, that's a bit weird, a bit mad. Anyway, I've got something to say about frag grenades, and before we get into the game, look, feel free to skip over the next couple of minutes because I'm just going to be talking about what you can see on the screen, but it's good to talk about it, and I want to give my thoughts on it and also tell you a bit of information that isn't on here that I think I can tell you. If not, Ubisoft will never talk to me again, but I think I can tell you. So, starting at the top. Fuse system. Remove the ability to cook the grenade. Added fuse time reduction after the first bounce. Initial fuse time 4 seconds from 5. Reduce fuse time 2 seconds. What that means, when you throw a frag grenade, if you could throw a frag grenade into the air infinitely, hang on a minute, sorry, I've got something on my tooth and I'm like trying to flick it off with my tongue without making it obvious. It's not happening, so there we go, it's gone now. If you throw a frag grenade into the air and it goes up in the air for 4 seconds, let's just say you can, I know you can't in game, but let's just say you can. You throw it up in the air for 4 seconds, it doesn't touch anything, it'll go off after 4 seconds. If you throw a frag grenade in the air and it bumps into something, so it hits a surface, whether it's a floor, a ceiling, a door frame, a desk, a bomb chassis, whatever, it has to hit something. As long as it hits something, that fuse timer will be reduced to 2 seconds as long as there's more than 2 seconds left on the fuse timer. So what I mean by that is, let me give you a few examples. You throw a grenade and it hits the bomb chassis whilst it's still got 3 seconds left on the fuse. That fuse time is going to be brought down to 2 seconds. If you throw a frag grenade and there's 1.5 seconds left on the fuse and it hits the bomb chassis, it doesn't reduce the timer at all because there's less than 2 seconds, so it doesn't affect it. I mean, throwing a grenade and it not hitting something for 2.5 seconds is going to be pretty, like 1 Mississippi, 2, it's going to be pretty hard to do, right? So most of the time, the fuse is going to be brought down to 2 seconds. We want to bring down the power level of the frag grenade to be in line with the rest of the secondary gadgets. Like all the others, it should be a weaker version of a primary gadget, such as the hard breach charge for hard breachers or the bulletproof camera for the intel gatherers. The secondary utility should not compete with or drive more attention to the main ability of an operator. This change will put the spotlight back on operators' abilities, and we will have more margin to make them excel in their roles. I cannot agree more, and this goes against what I do as well. If I'm playing Border or if I'm playing Villa, I'll play an operator with frag grenades. Pretend Finker and Gridlock didn't get frags mid-season, so go back to what we know, Sledge, Ion, and Knock, and Glaz. If Iona was taken, and Sledge was taken, and I was playing Villa or Border, I'd play Knock, because I wanted the frag grenades to nade from below. I didn't care about Knock's ability. Being honest, I think Knock's ability is absolutely... I don't think it's very good at all. But I would play Knock because of the grenades, and that's not how a secondary gadget should work. You shouldn't go, oh, I just want nades, so I'll play that operator. That's not how the secondary gadget... You know, you don't go, oh, I really need a bulletproof cam, I better play Jaeger. You know, you play Jaeger to stop the projectiles, and you think, oh, bulletproof cam or observation blockers or whatever he has these days. I can't remember off the top of my head. You don't... Now and then, maybe on defense, you'll pick someone with a C4, but you'll still use the primary gadget first before you'll think, do I need to deny walls? Yes, bandit. Can I use a mirror? Yes, mirror. But you won't just go, I need a C4, bandit. That's not, you don't think that way on defense, but you do on attack because frag grenades are too strong. We also want to increase the population of frag grenades so more operators can get them without severely affecting the presence. We won't keep this utility as limited as it is right now forever. It conflicts with our intention to give as many options as possible to players with foster creativity. Okay, So they want to give more players, more characters frag grenades, more operators frag grenades, but they can't at the minute because the frags are too strong. So you can't just give it to more people because it's a real problem. I remember the days of Finker having nades, Iona having nades, Sledge having nades, Maverick having nades, and you would get like 8 nades from below in a round, and it was like, wow, can I just take a gunfight, please, without dying from below? To that end, we'll remove the ability to cook grenades. This change removes a skill component when using them, but Aspect has been identified as the main reason why they're too powerful. Player ability can turn frag grenades into a better version of most operator abilities. Correct. Skilled players have reached a level that it even ignores the correct counters for grenades by killing defenders below without warning. So that's bob on, isn't it? Sorry, I'm gonna have a drink here. Bear with me. Bit of dry mouth from reading. That's spot on, isn't it? It's true. How many times on defense do you die from below and you think, well, that was fair? I didn't get a chance to fight back. However, the flip side of that is it feels really good on attack when you get a nade from below, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, get see you later. It's a really good feeling. We've not taken this decision lightly. Blah, da, 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 da. Essentially, what they're saying here is what they tried to do before they made the decision to stop cooking frag grenades. So I've seen things on Twitter saying, why don't you remove the ability to put the pin in? Why don't you give them just one frag grenade? Why don't you make them not lethal through floors? So, I went on a meeting last Thursday with 5 or 6 people from Ubisoft and 7 or 8 other content creators. And I'm pretty sure I can say this. It's not a secret. It wasn't recorded or anything, but the information on there is not a secret. And what Josh told us in that meeting was that the pick rate of Finker and Gridlock pre-mid-season patch last season was less than 5%, or in and around 5%, a little bit less, for Finker and Gridlock. They then gave Finker and Gridlock nades mid-season last season, and that pick rate went up to nearly 60% of rounds had Finker and Gridlock in, or Finker or Gridlock. Their individual pick rate went up to nearly 60%. Because of frag grenades. That isn't because Finker's a great operator, and there's nothing wrong with Finker. It's not because Gridlock's a great operator, nothing wrong with Gridlock. I actually really like Gridlock. It's because they got frag grenades. And people went, oh, I'll play Finker now because of the frags. That means that secondary gadget is way too strong. And I don't like it. I don't like talking about it because I love nading from below. But it's true. That meant it was too strong. So they tried different things, and they tried giving them one grenade. It wasn't right because the whole ethos of Siege is you get 2. The only thing that isn't true about that is the Gon 6. You get 1 shot on the Gon 6. But you get 2 or more. When it comes to like throwables and utility, yes, the bulletproof cam doesn't count. They tried making the damage not go through floors, but then that sort of took away from what a frag grenade is and the damage it can do through walls and things like that. They tried many different things before they settled on this being the right way forward. And you know what? No one knows it's the right way forward. We've still got to test it, and we've still got to play it for a season and see what it's like. And if after a season we come back and we go, that was a load of poop, I'm sure it'll get looked at again. But I stand by, and I agree. I hate it. I don't hate it. I actually think it's the right decision, but I still hate it. I love grenading from below. It's something I've been practicing for ages. It's something that I've learned, and it gives me like an edge on other players. But it is unfair, and it's not what frag grenades are intended to do. And more importantly, it skews operator pick rates just to get frag grenades. I've spoken for a long time there. Nobody cares anymore. I'm waffling on. Let's just get into the gameplay and see what's changed. So let's just look at who now gets grenades in amongst this grenade change. We already knew that Sledge, Glaz, Finker, Gridlock, and Knock had grenades, and we know that Iona lost them mid-season. However, now IQ will have nades, Lion will have nades, Sense will have nades, and Blackbeard will have nades. How mad's Blackbeard with nades? It's going to be interesting. So there's now going to be a total of what? Sledge, Glaz, IQ, Blackbeard, Lion, Finker, Gridlock, Knock, Osa, and Sense. 10 operators, as far as I can tell, that are now going to get grenades, which is going to be interesting, but let's have a look how they work. So I've ran to the roof as IQ. IQ has nades, yeah, how mad is that? Wild. What I'm going to try and do is, graphics look great, by the way, don't they? I'm going to try and throw this grenade into the air, and we're going to see if we can get that 4-second fuse to go off before it hits an object, and then we'll compare it with hitting an object. So you take the pin out. The sound has changed, by the way. Listen to the sound. Sound has changed slightly. So we're going to throw this in the air and see if we can get the 4-second fuse. It'll hit the floor before 4 seconds, but watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. Spot on. Almost at 4 seconds before it hit the floor. This is why I think the whole 4-second fuse thing is it's rarely going to happen in game. How many times are you going to throw a grenade that doesn't hit an object before 4 seconds? Then we're going to throw it and we'll hit this object here. And it will then, after it hits this object, it'll go to 2 seconds. 1, 2, bang. My counting's not spot on, but that's the way the fuse timer changes. Now, let's get into a more realistic example inside the map. Okay, so we're here on bathroom now, and we're going to pretend that there's an enemy in the bathroom, and we're trying to push that enemy out of the bathroom. We know he's to the left of the door, so we're going to try and push him out of bathroom. Now, previously, what you would probably do is cook the grenade, and either wait till a certain time and bounce it off this wall, so it'll go bounce and land somewhere here, ideally. Or what you'd do is you'd cook it, and then you'd quick peek it and throw it on the floor. So you'd be holding it now as it cooks. You'd quick peek it and throw it on the floor. What you're going to have to do now, and you'd try and get that kill with the frag grenade, right? What you're going to do now instead is bounce it off this wall or off the door frame, and that's going to flush the defender out of this area here, and then you've got to swing the door as well. So you can't just rely on the frag to get the kill now, because the defender's probably going to run from here over to here to escape the frag. That's when you've then got to swing and get the kill. You never used to have to do that, of course, because the frag grenade would have gone off in this area. So if we're going to clear someone out of this area now, you bounce it off. Oh, that's gone well. We've managed to hit the only part of that wall that stops frag grenades bouncing. That's really good. Let's try that again. We bounce it off the wall. It bounces to that side, and then we'd have to swing and push in and get the kill at the same time. We can't rely on the frag getting the kill. I can't believe that we hit one part of the wall there. It must have been we hit just on this edge here, and it just killed the bounce. It must have hit right on the edge of one of these panels. So that's how it's going to be now. I don't think that's the end of the world. I still think that's a massive advantage over Mr. Attacker that's in this corner here, or Mrs. Attacker, or sorry, a defender, not an attacker at all. A defender that's in this corner here, panicking, worried, and a nade comes in. Their only option is to move and try and win a gunfight, and you can flush them out that area, and you know they're going to be peeking, oh sorry, going to be moving across this area and probably peeking you. Interesting way of flushing areas now, and that's what grenades are going to be used for these days. It's flushing areas and getting people out of anchor spots. However, there are still some places you can nade from below. Stay tuned. Welcome to Border, a place where I still think you're going to be able to nade from below. The usual nade spot that we'd go for is here at half wall, right? However, you can use things that are in the map now to hold grenades on, well, like to balance grenades on, like hold grenades on, you know what I mean? I don't know why I've said hold grenades on, but you know what I mean. We can now use these vents to balance grenades, which means the explosion's still going to go through the floor. So if you want to nade half wall, you can still nade half wall now. You've just got to balance it on this bit of ventilation duct here. Bosh. And if someone's playing Hawful, they're still going to get affected by that. Yes, it hasn't destroyed the floor because it hasn't impacted straight on the floor. But if somebody's playing Hawful, that's definitely still going to cause them a problem. It will still destroy utility through the floor. Same as the shield that's normally played around this area. This one's a bit trickier because of those pipes. It could bounce off. But if you want to get rid of that shield, chuck it up onto this vent. Hope it doesn't roll off. And that's going to get rid of the shield that's played here. I'll just run upstairs. I'll show you what... well, you know what I mean. The shield that's played on that corner there. You know what? We started running upstairs. We're going to run upstairs and show you. The shield that's played on this area here, you can see that's where that grenade went off. So anyone playing around here is going to have a problem with that grenade going off below. Let me just get out the secure area. And there's going to be a ton of different places in maps where you can do that. There's going to be ones wherever there's vents or things that you can balance it. Or like you can chuck a nade on here. It will still go through the floor. I'm literally just making this up as I go along, trying to find things that you can throw grenades on. I don't know if there's any in here. I don't think there is. But I know there's light fixtures on Night Haven Labs. I know there's other light fixtures and vents you could balance things on. You'd have to do a bit of practice, but maybe you could get one on the fan here. There's those fans on Consulate as well. The point is, there's still ways of grenading from below. Obviously, it's only in very unique spots. You know, nading from below here used to be really popular. And here, when people play in the box, you could still maybe do that on the light, although I'm pretty sure if you threw a grenade on that light, it's just going to bounce off. You'd have to come up with some way of getting it to bounce on there, to land on there, maybe stay on. I think it's going to be really tough. But there are loads of places with vents like this and with light fixtures that you can balance it on, where nading from below will still be possible in certain circumstances. So there we have it, the frag grenade changes summarized, summed up. Frag grenade changes, good or bad? For me as a player, bad, because I get a lot of kills from below with frag grenades. For the betterment of the game and for the betterment of choosing operators based on the primary ability, a good change. I have to swallow my pride a little bit and say, yes, I won't be able to get frag grenades from below, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm now going to be picking operators on Villa and Border for the betterment of the team and not selfishly to try and get a grenade kill from below. That has to be a good thing for the game. So yes, the way that we use frag grenades is going to have to change, but I don't think that's a bad thing in the grand scheme of things. I don't think a secondary gadget should be able to get you 2 kills around potentially. And we're now going to have to flush enemies out of areas and rely on a gun skill to kill them once they're flushed out of that area, which I think is probably the way a secondary gadget should work. Anyway, enough about me. What's your opinion? What do you think? Are the frag grenade changes going to affect things for you? Get it in the comments below and let me know. I've only seen negative things generally so far on Twitter, and I really think after a couple of weeks of playing it that people are going to go, you know what, this isn't that bad, and I'm not dying from below without not being able to challenge it anymore. This is probably for the betterment of the game. I really do believe that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for getting involved with the video. If you've watched it 10 times, if you watched it for 10 seconds, or if you've watched it for 10 minutes, thank you very much for getting involved with the channel. You're the GOAT. Don't forget, a massive thank you to Aorus Gigabyte for sponsoring the video. Their links are in the description below. What a mad time we used a stupid cheesy intro to involve a company and a brand that we just worked with. Never thought that was going to happen when I started YouTube nearly 2 years ago. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!